You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Celebration Theater for their presentation of Dead Boys. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Matthew Scott Montgomery, writer and star of Dead Boys at Celebration Theater. I am an actor who is mostly known for doing like Disney Channel stuff. I'm making the transition into theater actor, and I wrote a show that we just opened at the Celebration Theater, which is my dream space to be doing it in, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Great, and which character do you play tonight?
My character's name is Levi. Levi breaks my heart a little bit, because Levi's a really well-intentioned guy. In the world of the play, it's kind of the end of the world, and there's a mysterious apocalyptic environment happening, and he's been trapped in the basement of his old high school, and he's kind of like remembering being bullied in high school, and he's kind of stuck in this space, and he gets trapped down there with the guy that used to beat him up. So the play is just one scene all the way through, and these two characters reconnecting and realizing their high school experience was more similar than they thought that it was to begin with.
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed your performance.
Oh,
and
thank
also,
you.
I love the way you wrote it in the sense that it had these layers in it. Like, you actually played a gay Christian. When you think, how's that possible? How can you be gay and Christian at the same time? And your friend was Latino and white in a suburb area. Yeah. So you saw a lot of those things, which you basically just don't expect to see.
Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of times when you see LGBT theater, you find character, and when religion is involved, and I've been in Southern Baptist Sissies that Del Shores wrote in the film version as well, and which is a beautiful piece, and I absolutely love that. There's a lot of anger and angst of being rejected from the church, and this character Levi, he's always trying to make the positive choice, and despite everything, he believes in God and believes that God is love. Despite everything that's happened to him, it was important for me to have a character in a piece and to get to play a character who's always trying to make a positive choice despite everything, like choosing to love despite all the things that happen to him. And as the play goes along and it kind of unpacks itself, you hear some of the things that he went through. And like you just said, that Carter, the character that Levi's trapped down with, is a Mexican-American. And Levi and Carter realize they have some things in common, Levi being a Mexican-American, Carter being a Mexican-American, and Levi being a part of the LGBT family. They're both kind of these shunned minorities that grew up in this mostly white, super straight kind of Republican high school. And it's kind of, they really finally learn who they are because they both had to wear these masks when they were in school. And the play, a lot of it is unpacking what those masks were and kind of taking them off and being able to be vulnerable with one another. And there's some twists and turns throughout there where you find things that it keeps flipping things on its head where you don't know exactly where the show's going to go. But that's how real life is. You know, we're complicated. I'm a member of the LGBT community. I'm not just a gay person. That's just not who I am. We have belief systems. We have things we like or don't like. You know, we have, some of us like sports, some of us don't like sports. Some stereotypes are kind of true, some aren't really. And I wanted to have two complicated, well-rounded characters that really get a chance to connect despite all of those differences.
I remember one line in the play that just fascinated me when he said, you know, that he beat you up, and then he says, you don't know why I did that. It's just so incredibly complicated. I just can't explain it. Yeah. And that basically just flashed back to my memories in high school. Sure. When I did things, I don't even know why I did them. I just had to do it. I said things to some people. Why did I say that to him? It's not like I didn't like the guy. It's just everyone else was doing it. Am I supposed to do that? And you know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, I think a lot of it's with toxic masculinity and heteronormativity. There's a lot of these ideas of we have to be a certain way. And in this show, because these two guys are trapped kind of at the end of the world, everyone else is essentially gone. And they realize that a lot of those things that they were told to be and they were told how to act weren't apt, weren't right, were things that didn't matter, that they lost part of their lives because they dedicated it to trying to live up to this idea of something that someone somewhere decided they should be. And a lot of that is entrenched in toxic masculinity and heteronormativity. But we've had people who come to see the show show who identify with it who aren't LGBT. There was a white woman with red hair who came, and she identified with it in certain ways. A lot of it is about how you never grow up out of high school. And these two guys are 25 now, find themselves back in high school and have to face all of that stuff. High school kind of feels like the end of the world to begin with, and that's kind of where the show lives.
Are you familiar with what the Pope said a couple of weeks ago about homosexuality?
I'm not sure if I do. Tell me, what did he say?
He actually had a private conversation with someone, and the guy who was gay, he was confessing things to, and the Pope said to him, God made you the way you are, and he loves you.
Yeah.
And it was just revolutionary, because the Pope actually said that in public, and it was printed. Some reporters actually went to the church and asked him, well, what's about this? The Pope saying God makes people gay?
Yeah.
And the church said, we don't comment on private conversations the Pope made. So it's kind of like they're saying, well, yes, you know what I mean? Well, we can't officially say something, but yeah, he said it, you know.
There's a Bible verse that says, I don't know the exact verse, but it says, we were fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully meaning respect. So it's like we have a creator who created us specifically how we are. So I don't believe being gay is a choice. I do believe in God, and I believe that God made me this way. I firmly believe that. And like the character Levi, believes that God is love, and there is a place for him for love and acceptance.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed the piece. I thought you guys acted very well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you were here.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Appreciate it. My pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Andrew Puente.
I'm a resident artist at the Chance Theater in Anaheim. I have been for the last about year or two. I've been a company member at least. I graduated from Cal State University Long Beach in 2015. Currently represented by DDO Artist Agency and Minx Talent Management. I think that's all about me off the top of my head that I can think of.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
Oh, that's right. I play Carter in Dead Boys tonight. Carter, he is a young man who is dealing with a lot of internal conflict that I think is brought on by multiple sources, whether it's like a cultural clash in terms of identifying as Mexican American and trying to find out what that means in a part of the country that is not necessarily as accepting of that, and also kind of coming to grips with aspects of his sexuality as well, that is also where he also exists in a community that's not very that's not considered okay, and that not only in the community that he lives in, but also how that relates to being Latino in particular. And I think that's my favorite part about the show, is that there's kind of that crossover, that intersectionality of the LGBT community and groups and minority groups of color, and how their struggles are kind of similar. And Carter, to me, represents people like me who are of both communities who have struggled with both sides of those kinds of things, and not necessarily seen that represented in arts all the time, particularly because it's something that's very much kind of gray. We never really kind of assign Carter a sexuality. We never really kind of assign anything. We kind of leave it in where Levi says, maybe you're both of those things, maybe you're all of those things, and I think that's kind of great. That's my favorite thing about him, is that he kind of represents an opportunity to be all of the things you are.
I really enjoyed the piece in the sense that it dealt with, again, things you wouldn't think about, like Latino. You don't think Latino and sexuality, or bisexual or homosexuality. Mm-hmm. You don't think of Christian and gay also together, but it's very common. It's like, there are many gay popes. Mm-hmm. In fact, do you know what the Pope actually said about homosexuality a couple of weeks ago?
I do not, actually.
He actually was speaking to a gay person. Mm-hmm. They just had this conversation, and the Pope said, God made you the way you are, mm-hmm. and he loves you and all that. And the Catholic Church, because this is revolutionary, the Pope said that to a gay person, mm-hmm. and the Catholic Church, they asked the Catholic Church, what about this? The Pope is saying God made this gay person the way he is. The Catholic Church says we don't comment on private conversations the Pope made.
I think that's very interesting, and I think that when it comes to religion, that's also a very interesting aspect, because I think that's something that's very culturally tied into being Latino as well. Because I think that was one of the things that you kind of picked up on. I happened to be raised Catholic as well, so I very much kind of associate those two things. And I find it interesting to see where those kinds of lines are drawn by the organizations and by the groups. But I am pleased to see that the overwhelming feeling is at least from what I remember, the same teachings, which is that what the Pope said, and that God made everybody the way that they are, and that God loves everybody. And to me, that I'm like, it seems to me that's a positive story. I'm excited about that.
Also, like, there were other things that it touched in, like, bullying, like, just being a high school kid. Because being in high school, you just feel like you're forced to do things. You feel like pressure, peer pressure. You feel like you could be beaten up any moment. I mean, that's just normal. And you just encapsulated that so well.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely something that Matthew did really well in Dead Boys, which is capture that feeling of other, and that kind of where I mentioned the intersectionality earlier, but I think it's that overwhelming feeling that anybody who, like you said, anybody who's ever been in high school, who's ever been in an organization where they felt like they were on the outside looking in, and what that othering feeling can feel like when it's pushed to the extreme, and how isolating and how damaging that can be to people, because we are social creatures and we do feed off of interaction. So yeah, I think that's something that's super important to kind of that it touches on as well.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed from the start. I enjoyed your acting. I always enjoy your acting.
Thank you so much.
You're one of my favorite actors of the chance.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Dead Boys will be playing at Celebration Theater from July 1st to July 31st. For more information, go to www.celebrationtheater.com. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the White Fire Theater for their presentation of The Blade of Jealousy. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Denise Placer. I'm the director of The Blade of Jealousy by Henry Young.
So, question, tell me, why did you decide to do this piece?
Well, we did it as a reading, and we did it twice as a reading, and it was very well received, and then it was time to produce it. So we asked several places to produce it, and White Fire decided that they would like to do it. So we joined teams, and here we have it.
Yeah, this is based on a piece that was written like 400 years ago.
Yes, it's a Tirso de Molina piece, and Henry adapted it and modernized it, and I took the concept and made it more of a commedia dell'arte kind of a play, and got 6 wonderful actors. We trained for 4 weeks, doing a lot of slapstick kind of clowning work, and then here we have it.
Well, I love the piece. Basically, again, it was dated about the era after Shakespeare died.
Right.
So a lot of people actually, they put the era down because they say, well, it's not as good as it was before, because Shakespeare, obviously, who can compare with Shakespeare? But again, it doesn't mean there weren't great pieces. And this piece, again, reminded me a lot of Shakespeare.
Yes, it is. It's written around the same time. I mean, so the style was happening in Europe. It was the same type of idea. What Henry did then, he read the piece and just modernized it so that it can fit to what's happening right now. I mean, there's a lot of characters. We have ICE, we have illegal aliens, we have a lot of things. But basically, the story is about love and how everybody wants love and everyone needs love, and how we try to meet the right person, and what do we do in our lives in order to cherish that experience. In our production, I also decided to use a live musician, and Longo is an amazing cellist and pianist, so we integrated him in the production so that he could punctuate certain moments in the play, and also I thought that it would be fun to have video, so that given that this theater is small and we couldn't really bring a set, video is such a great method now of integrating live theater. So we went down the streets of Los Angeles and shot a lot of stuff, and Diana Ciccogni is the filmmaker, and she took the ideas and made them her own.
Yeah, one of my complaints about Shakespeare is he never really give very many great roles for women. But this one, the villain was a woman, and also the lead character was a woman.
Yes, exactly. There's 3 women, and Tirso de Molina did write for women. Most of his plays have a lot of women storytelling or being the leads of the play. And in this one, 2 of the 3 women are really principal actors, and again, it's the story told through the point of view of a woman that wants to fall in love, and the mistaken identity, which was something that was so predominant of that time, of those plays, and the so-called villain, in which, I mean, she's a soft villain, it's the servant that wants a better life, and so much like what's happening now here, wanting the better life. Why do people come to the United States for the green cards and etc.? Because they want a better life. So I don't see her as a villain. I just see her as someone that is trying to have the best in life. And Cynthia Dane, who's a Chicago actress, very lovely actress, does such a great job. I mean, to me, she's like Lucille Ball on crack. Because she really takes a moment and really makes it huge and wonderful.
I love your choice in casting, because again, for a piece like this, we don't have the luxury of it being in a modern time, and again, that means there's a lot of modern theater tricks we have, like, we deal with things that are really shocking. But back then, it's 400 years ago. You can't do that. Certain things you can't talk about. So your actors really captivated the audience. They were just masterful. What do you look for in your casting?
First of all, when I do casting, I'm very open to all ethnicities. Number one, and in this particular play, you saw it. I have every possible rainbow of actors, but I look for truth. It's because ultimately, even though it's a comedy and it's a farce, there has to be truth, and so that's the number one. Then timing, especially for something like this, you really do. That's not a learned thing that you can do in 4 weeks. You really need to have a sense of comedic timing, and so I look for that as well. And then the mixture of actors, how they can work together and be a true ensemble. So those are my 3 things.
Well, I just love this piece. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
again,
you so
very Shakespearean. It was comedic. It was actually, acting was fantastic. Also.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you coming here and seeing live theater and sponsoring live theater, because it's like people like you that we need you. We need you and others to come and share with us this moment of love and unity.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Natalie Amanula. Well, I play Magdalena in the play, and it's been an amazing journey just being able to work with everybody and on this project. And I just came out, try to have as much fun as possible, and I hope everybody enjoyed it as well. So,
great. What's your take on Magdalena?
Oh my gosh, she's an amazing character to act. She's a little crazy, but in this passionate, beautiful way. I get to play pretty much 2-3 characters. So Magdalena, yeah, she's passionate, and it's been so much fun to play her.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
It's probably not something that they see all the time. It is a stylized play, so it's very animated, I guess you could say. But it's a lot of fun. Just the writing itself is really fun just to listen to. So I think they'll enjoy it. Hopefully, everybody come out and enjoy the play.
Well, I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was very Shakespearean in a sense.
Yeah, actually, it's really good that you brought that up. It does have that sort of Shakespearean feel, but without the Shakespearean words, if you could put it that way. But yeah, it's good to hear that. I'm glad that you were able to pick that up.
Yeah, well, actually, this was based upon a piece that was actually written like 400 years ago.
Exactly. I mean, it wasn't Shakespeare himself, but it was of that similar time. So yeah, it would have that similar Renaissance sort of feel. So.
Yeah, well, basically, again, I really enjoyed the piece. I believe it was the Jacobean period that was written during, and a lot of people, kind of criticize it a little bit because obviously it's not as good as Shakespeare. Nothing could be as good as Shakespeare. You have this great legend, he died. Everyone else is terrible, right? But in this particular case, obviously they imitated a lot of him because, again, that's the style. It was the state of the arts back then. Right. But I love the way the theatrical actors presented it in a very Shakespearean method. Even though there wasn't the meter, there wasn't the English accent, I really, really enjoyed it because it brought me. It was very original.
Well, it wasn't original.
Right,
It was something I hadn't seen before, but I really loved it.
Right, it's not something that you go and see all the time at different playhouses. So yeah, it's. I mean, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you got all that out of it. And yeah, I hope that everybody comes out and sees the play.
And once again, I got to compliment the actors. Actors are fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Because it captured my attention, and I just love the way you played the characters, the romance, the intrigue. The only thing I have to say is, again, like Shakespeare, the only difference between Shakespeare is no one died at the end of this one.
Not exactly. Dramatically almost, but not exactly. No one died, so that's good, I guess.
One more thing. Actually, one thing I'm kind of disappointed in Shakespeare is there's usually not very many strong female roles in it.
Yeah.
This piece actually, the villain was a woman, and you were the lead character as the woman. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's amazing that, especially since this is an adaptation of the original play, and that being able to play such a strong character who completely carries the story, and not only that, but she's able to play different characters. There's really like 3 characters in one, so it's amazing that even at that time it was, it was written that way, you know what I mean? So and that Henry was able to bring that back to life, especially now, I think that's amazing, and it was awesome to be able to play that. So
yeah, that's something I love about theater. I don't know why, for some strange reason, I think back then that even they knew this is just art. I mean, women are part of art, men are part of art, because it was very taboo. They thought that, if a woman was playing something, she was almost like a prostitute, right? But no, a lot of people like, Ibsen and this gentleman, they've realized, women have to have a voice in this.
Right.
Back then, 400 years ago.
Right, and that's amazing, don't you? I mean, yeah, that they were allowing women to portray this and to be strong and carry this. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So it's such an honor to be a part of that now.
Okay, well, once again, I really love your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Cynthia Dane, who plays Quinones in The Blade of Jealousy. Please come see our show. It's fun, fantastic. Henry Ong wrote it, and Denise Blazor directed it, and you'll love it.
Wait, and which character you play again?
Quinones. Quinones does what she needs to do to survive in America as a foreigner who needs a green card.
I personally love anti-heroes, and I love villains. And again, for this particular show, again, it's Shakespearean nature. There's such key components. I love your performance. You were fantastic.
Thank you so much. I never think a villain as a villain. She's only doing what she needs to do to survive, If you hurt me, I hurt you. Right?
Yeah. Because again, the classic villains like Richard III, I mean, it was in the same league of that. She was subtle. She was dark. She basically gave an excitement to the show that actually gave it its Shakespearean backbone.
Well, I like to come out into the audience because I hope to win you over and on my side, voting for me like, oh yeah. So, thank you.
I also have to compliment the actors because again, the accents. Obviously, you did with a Spanish accent, but you broke into English, and also your movement, the theatrical movement. It just kept the audience engaged and captured.
Thank you. A lot of that was choreographed by Denise Blazor. She was amazing with directing us, getting the movements precise, and it's a very stylized play. So she worked us over and over and over again. And working with Eddie, he was amazing to work with. As my partner in that dance scene. So, yeah, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, once again, I just loved your performance. You were fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, thank you for coming. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Terry Woodbury. Well, I want to thank the people, the theater community, to come out and see the Blade of Jealousy. We worked very hard on it. It's a good play that people can identify with the love and the comedy and the mysterious things that happen. Will bring you out in a situation where you can identify and just have fun with.
Great. Which character did you play?
Melchior. Melchior, he's from Cedar Rapids. He's very ambitious to be in a big city like LA and in California. And he's here with his buddy, Ventura, and that's basically looking out to see what things in life they can venture to better their lives, coming from a small time in Cedar Rapids. So for them, it's a venture into a new world, literally. Yeah.
This reminded me a lot of a Shakespearean piece. piece.
Yes, it did. It did it for me as well because the language is so rich and it's flowing, and it's a lot of poetry in it, which I love. And as you know, Shakespeare has a lot of that, everything like that. So for me, that was the challenge, to keep the poetry going, to keep the bigness of it all going, as far as being big, also being some real moments to it as well. So it was a very good challenge to marry all three of the elements in there. Yeah.
Well, I have to compliment you as an actor, because not everyone can carry Shakespeare. Obviously, it's so hard, and you don't have the added benefit of it being modern. And with modern, you would have a modern theme to it that is very shocking and all that. But again, so to carry Shakespeare, you have to do it with your voice, your mannerism, and you have to engage the audience. And you did a fantastic job.
I sure appreciate it. Also, too, you have to keep the chemistry with the other actors as well, in addition to all that. But I appreciate you as far as giving me a compliment on that. It was very hard and challenging, but in all, it was very fun as well. Yeah.
As for the piece, I would say it's kind of a poetic words. That's what it is. It's basically a melody of words in which you guys just roll off your tongue. You guys handled it very well.
Yes. Yeah, that was the challenge in it all, because, like you said, the poetry of it all, we didn't have to pretty much stick to the iambic pentameter, like you said, like normally in Shakespeare, but we did have to commit to the rhyming of it all, to the rhythm, and just the up and down poetry, and staying true to it and committing to it. So that part we did have to do. So yes.
Once again, I really liked your performance.
Okay.
I love the performance as a whole. Thank you very much for being on the show.
You're quite welcome. Thank you very much for coming out and supporting us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
My name is Eddie Mui. I'm an actor here in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, but I've been in LA for about 20 years now. And I also produce independent projects, independent films, and web series, like how they mentioned in the play. And this is the third time I've worked with Henry Ong, who's the fabulous writer of this production.
Great. And which character did you play?
I play Ventura, and he's the best friend of the lead actor Melchor. And Ventura is a very animated and loving character, and he's also is a very sweet guy. I like to think he's a sweet guy.
I really like this piece. I thought it was Shakespearean in nature.
Oh yeah, it's written in that style where the acting is very, it's a little bit more broad, and but spoken with modern, English and modern times. It takes place, 2018 today. But yes, you are correct. It's presented in a Shakespearean way, and the level of acting has to be more on the broader side of performance. But yet in that reality, in that world, that's how they really speak. Yes.
Yeah, again, I really love the piece because it's dated back then, you don't have the crutch of being tied to, say, modern theater, which has shocking themes like, things like cannibalism and incest. But again, the actors themselves were just capture the audience in their movement, in their voice, in their poetry, it's just the way they mastered the language.
Yes, that's very true. And also, there's a lot of physical comedy in the show too. So I'm sure you saw there's a lot of dance. There's dancing. There's falling down. There's pretend fighting. There's also a little slapstick comedy that takes place during the show. So it's definitely a workout for an actor to come in, and there's also no intermission. So it's basically 90 minutes of kind of a madcap romantic comedy adventure that takes place here in Los Angeles. It's set in Los Angeles, that is, modern Los Angeles, and also around Chinatown. Yeah.
Well, again, I really loved your performance. I thought you were the great, the comic relief in Shakespeare, the funny guy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I really loved your performance.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here
with Carla Valina. Well, this is our opening night, and it was an amazing crowd. I am very grateful for everyone who came and saw the show, and I just couldn't have had more fun. So I'm very grateful for Henry and Denise and all my my friends on stage.
Great. And which character did you play?
I played Angela. Angela is a character that she has been taken by Hollywood, by fame and all her dreams, but deep inside she just wants what everybody else wants, which is being loved and love someone in return as well. So yeah, that's Angela.
I actually really enjoyed the performance. I found it very Shakespearean.
Yeah, I think that's the idea that Henry had when he wrote the play. He wanted to make it stylized and at the same time easy to comprehend and to follow. So we try to keep that in our performances.
The Blade of Jealousy will be playing at the White Fire Theater from June 24th to August 26th. For more information, go to www.thebladeofjealousy.brownpapertickets.com.